The deity, Selune, has been captured by a mysterious villain, trying to control all the lycanthrope in the Forgotten Realms. Randall Morn, a bard, has reached out to his fellow entertainer, Vincefield. Vincefield knows he cannot do this alone, so after a few years of traveling, he is reunited with Gelsira and Ari in the high forest north of Silverymoon. Listen to see if the heroes can defeat the werebeasts and rescue Selune before darkness falls over the realm. Welcome to Some Would Play, featuring Matt.
Hello, I'm playing Ari Futan, a monk warlock.
And Daphne.
I'm Daphne, and I play Gelsira Venfire, who is a halfling druid.
And Justin.
Hello, I am playing a half-elf bard named Vincefield.
And I'm Debrah, your dungeon master, back to hurt the players again. So, imagine you guys are in, well, you're not in Icedale yet.
I am. I live there. That's why I built my house, raised my family.
That's a cold place.
I love it.
Considering
Big
it's
fan.
called Icedale.
That's why it's called
assume.
Icedale.
It's got low humidity.
Okay. So, where you are all at
She's
currently.
got a goddamn map.
I do have a goddamn map, okay?
There's a lot of ocean there. Can we go there?
I mean, if you
can
want
we
to go to the
sail?
Moonshae
We might already
Isles.
be there.
Yeah, hold on. You guys have just spent
Washed
the
up on
day
shore.
finishing trekking through the high forest.
The Hive Forest.
Yep, the high forest. There it is. Good job.
We trekked.
You trekked north towards, trekked north through the high forest toward the city of Silverymoon. You had spent a not quite lovely night there because nobody really wants to serve anybody because they're all vastly afraid. And so, come nightfall, everybody slams their shutters and stays inside.
Like at the same time?
Pretty much. It's like a Disney movie.
That's
They all go, bam!
honestly what I envisioned in my head.
Yes, just like a Disney movie.
Just like it.
Okay. You guys are just north of Silverymoon, where you are looking to meet with a Randall Morn.
Randall Morn?
Randall Morn is an old acquaintance of Vincefield. Except the problem was Vincefield had too much to drink and doesn't actually remember what his face looks like.
That's very personal and I feel attacked.
Acquaintance.
And it has been years and years. So, whether it was the booze, whether it's just been time, he doesn't actually remember his face. But this Randall Morn had reached out to Vincefield because he had heard that Vincefield had teamed up with some adventurers.
The dopest of the dope.
That had, some specialties in dealing with deities.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
That happened.
That happened. Okay. So, but you're not quite sure. He wasn't very specific in his letters. He just said he really, really needed some help. And it was interesting because in his letters, he referred to he needed to save the moon. And that to meet him and the army from Waterdeep,
Okay.
just north of Silverymoon.
Okay.
Okay. So Vincefield teamed up with Ari and Gelsira, and you guys had headed north, and you break out of the forest. It's about an hour before sundown. You break out of the forest, and you see a large contingent.
Oh, a contingent.
Yes.
Oh, look at all those people.
You see some knights, some war horses are picketed, some people moving around in a camp. You see tents in nice rows. Everything's very orderly in this camp.
Okay.
Seems
Well done.
very, yes.
Good job, everyone.
You see some infantry and you see, spaced out some bonfires and stuff. And there seems to be about somewhere between 125, 150 people in total.
Okay.
In this. So about, a lot of, get the size about of a contingent.
Do we see which faction they're with?
You know that they are wearing the symbol of Waterdeep.
Okay.
Okay. Which is not, it's a coastal fort.
Mind those ums.
But you know that Waterdeep is a lawful good town. Pretty powerful in this area.
Cool.
So
I'm writing LG on my notes, not that I will remember what that means.
you'd be like, what?
They're large troops.
So,
Waterdeep
you know that they're a
large?
contingent. So that's your first clue here, where you're kind of like, "Phew, okay, at least we're not meeting in a tavern with some roguish characters."
By the way, where is Neef right now?
Who? She's dead.
Neef's not dead.
She's probably dead. I mean, this is the future. She's definitely dead.
Who knows? You guys. So, Vincefield, when you
probably
got this letter,
Never got him for standoffishness.
the only other people you could find were Gelsira and Ari. You have sent communication to Neith and Pan.
Okay.
Their old adventuring buddy. But you hadn't actually gotten any communication back.
Gotcha.
But you knew you needed to go, and so Ari and Gelsira were the ones you were able to get together and move
Ready
forward.
to rock and roll.
Woo!
Let's do this. Yeah.
Yes. So you've got the sun setting to your left, darkness rising on your right. You head north and you see this contingent of orderly soldiers. Mountains you can see to the northeast. They're not that far away, maybe a couple miles. You could get to the foot of the mountains in about a half an hour.
Oh, they're probably really large then, huh?
Yeah, they're really large.
Ugh!
And then to the north and the northwest, you see the beginning of a very large and dense forest.
I
I
dig
like
it.
that. Probably easier to get through than the mountains. Well, I can fly.
And then to the east is more meadow plain area. And then you see off in the distance, you see another forest kind of start in that direction. But it's pretty flat land toward west.
Okay.
Shit.
In that area. Okay, so you've got forests to your back, mountains to your right. Then you've got this big wide open area where the contingent is at. And then forest to the north, plain to the east with forest on the very horizon.
Okay.
Should we meet up with whoever's in charge of the contingent? We're supposed to meet up with
Yeah.
them? What do you
As we
think,
walk
Vince?
in, are we like instantly noticed? Do people just know who we are now?
Odds or evens?
Like, oh shit, the
Ooh,
gods are
even.
here to help us. Because we're gods.
Nice. So as you come out of the trees and you're looking around, kind of getting your bearings, all of a sudden you each feel a spear come up poking into the back
Ooh,
of each of you.
That's not nice.
And
Ah,
you hear a voice that
adorable.
says, "Freeze!"
Okay.
and proclaim your names.
I am Ari Futan.
I'm Jelsira Venfire.
Vincefield.
And then they start pushing you a little bit more with the spears and say, "Ari, Gelsira, and Vincefield, march forward if you have brought no harm here."
I mean, that's the way we were going, right?
Right.
Yeah, we were doing that anyway.
Yeah, I don't feel threatened by these guys.
Yeah,
so
me
I'm,
neither.
I'm
Yeah,
just,
I mean, they don't know who you
I'm
are.
just doing what they want me to do.
Yeah, they're
I'm
just-
like,
Fucking gnats we
Yeah.
have to swat.
I told you all we should have gotten a wagon and been carried in. Yeah.
You're like,
Right as always, Vince.
and I pretend to be weak. I'm like, please don't hurt us, guards. We don't mean any harm.
and yours kinds of like brings his spear a little bit, not as far poking in. The one for you, Ari, is like really pushing his.
I mean, he's
into your
welcome to try.
back. Because he's not sure if he's actually like menacing at all. Vincefield, I want you to give me a perception roll.
Ooh. Oh, no. That would be a 17.
So you notice that the person holding the spear into your back is actually trembling and seems to actually be really scared.
Interesting.
And you're out of like the corner of your eye, you're able to like kind of look back and notice that the three sentries that have come up on you actually look really young and very inexperienced.
I'm like, hey, have you guys seen any war battle yet?
And yours goes, "We've seen plenty of battle," and then pokes you again.
Oh,
and get you moving forward.
Do you guys want an ass whooping or what's happening here?
We don't know who you are.
But do you like?
We're here to guard. Go forward. We'll take you to our commander, and they can figure it out.
We'll go to your commander, no problem. But do you instinctively think you could take us? Like, do your senses tell you could take us?
Are you trying to intimidate them?
Yeah.
Roll for intimidation.
What is she? Is written all over? Hell yeah. Oh, 18.
Oh. So all three actually take a step back because they like really feel the menace coming off of you.
Cut that rude shit out. We'll go where you want to go.
Why do you think everybody's rude?
No, I'm
They're
not
just
saying
sentries.
you. That's how they should act for sure.
Right.
I'm just being Ari. Like, fucking politeness, motherfuckers. We'll go where you want. Just cut that shit out. Don't poke me.
And one of them says kind of in a trembling voice, and they're like, we just want you to go to our commanders, and you can talk with them.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's where we wanted to go anyway.
We'll go forward.
We're good with that.
Can you
Just
face
don't
that way. Go forward.
Don't poke us.
Hey, do you guys want some baklava?
Fuck.
And one of them kind of just stops and looks at you, and they're like, what is baklava?
Oh, you got to try it.
Yeah, it's delicious.
And
Yeah,
I take off from the everlasting baklava and I hand it to him.
And the one behind Vincefield actually like reaches out to start taking it. But then the one behind Ari then like takes a spear and smacks his hands. And he's like, what are you doing? Don't take that. Could be poisoned.
It's definitely not poison, guys. It's delicious.
Yeah.
She just loves handing out baklava.
If you're really on our side, go forward. Just
I mean, that's
go that.
what
And
we're doing.
they point in the direction, and you see in the middle of a camp like a bigger tent that have 4 small little flags coming off the corners.
What time of day is it?
Sunset.
Sunset.
Nice. Are there shadows?
Yes.
How far away is the big tent?
Like it's a good 10-minute walk. Like you can see it. You can see like the top of it, but you got to get through some like rows of tents and past fires and
Could you just teleport us there?
I mean, I could turn us into clouds and we could just float there.
You are just really into trying to turn us into clouds.
It's going to happen.
I don't know what your deal is, but I feel like you're right. It's going to happen. We should just accept it.
Yeah, especially with Neith not being here because Neith was always against it.
Neith never wanted to be cloud.
We just got to let this happen, you know. Typical.
I just keep walking. I'm eating the baklava and walking at the same time, letting him with his spear in the back. I'm just not even.
Yeah, spears are no longer touching you guys, but
that's all I wanted
some
was
really
to not be
scared sentries
fucking
now.
poked by a goddamn spear.
As we walk
Back
through,
the fuck up, know your place.
As we walk through the camp, I want to almost kind of be overly showy and like take my hat off, and be like, "Good evening, hello, how are you doing?" Just like very like don't care about the person behind me at all.
Since we're here at Vince's request, I'll let Vince handle all the talking.
I want you to roll for charisma.
Nice.
Charisma.
Oh,
I'm just going to stand behind Vince like...
And also,
what are
I'm
we doing?
skipping.
Just tell me what we're doing.
Yeah, you got little Gelsira who's just like, la 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 la.
Is it a save?
No, it's just a straight roll.
Straight roll?
Not a gay roll.
15. But it's not
Gay
a save.
ahead.
Never mind. 15.
Yeah, 15. Okay, so as you walk along, people look at you and you're like, hi. And at first, people are giving you a look like, who is he, right? But then you notice that this is a mixed gender contingent. And so as some of the women see you, they're like, oh, he's really nice looking. And like start giving you like little like eye flutters, and one of them winks at you.
Can I use my prestidigitation to like when I look and like give a thumbs up to like just like twinkle in my eye?
Yes, you can totally do that. Hey. So, yes, as you pass, the men are just kind of like, oh, like, they're bringing people in. But then, the women have, they don't see a whole lot of people of your caliber.
Yeah.
You're obviously not part of the army you're obviously not a soldier. So they're pretty excited. They're like, oh, maybe they brought in entertainment. So you guys are walked through some grass. It's about ankle high, still wet. You can tell that it's rained recently. But although there's not very many clouds in the sky currently, but luckily you guys are able to afford some nice boots, so your feet are still staying dry and stuff. But you're walking through, and there's no real paths. You could tell that this contingent hasn't been there for very long. Like, they haven't literally left too much of an imprint on the earth.
Okay.
Okay. You could tell that maybe they've been there for like a couple days type thing. And go ahead and everybody roll for perception.
30.
13.
20.
As you are walking, all of a sudden, these sentries stop behind you as you hear multiple wolf howls
Okay.
coming from the east. They rise in a crescendo. You can't tell how many they are, but you can tell there's multiple of these
Sounds
creatures.
about like 400 of them to me.
Not that many.
Friends of yours?
And as their howls drop, you hear another group of wolves answer them from the north, from the forest in the north.
Ooh.
I'm going to turn and look at Gelsira and just kind of shrug my shoulders with open hands like, you know anything?
I'd like to do, I guess, a nature check.
Roll away.
Ooh, 8.
I mean, you can tell that they came from some sort of wolf-like creature.
Well, that's definitely a wolf-like creature.
Astute as ever.
You can't really tell much else than what everybody else was able to perceive.
Ari chuckles.
Ooh, I do. So, Cedric with me?
Yes.
I'm like, hey,
If you want him to be.
I do.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, Cedric, why don't you go check it out?
Cedric, where is Cedric? Is he like flying above your head?
He's on my shoulder.
See, that always weird because I'm thinking like this big old owl on little Gelsira's shoulder.
It's probably not.
Okay.
It's hilarious, is
But
what
he's
it
riding
is.
on your shoulder, and he actually like turns his head in his little owl form, right?
Think about it animated.
And then he kind of pokes at your head a little bit with his beak and kind of like pokes at it like, you idiot. And you get this sense from Cedric, he's not able to, I don't know, he's like really afraid
That's not like
to the
Cedric.
point where he can't really like give you many thoughts and really speak to you, but more of like, heck no, am I going out there? No.
I'm like, it's okay, Cedric, you don't have to.
Hmm.
And I'm like, so I don't know exactly what it is, except they're wolf creatures of some sort, but Cedric doesn't want to go check it out. So if Cedric's afraid, then we maybe some bad news.
From both the north and the east?
Mm-hmm.
And Cedric does give you the impression that it's not just the north and the east, but there's also emanating from the west
Ooh.
a very powerful presence. I want you to roll for perception.
Me?
Yes.
You got this.
You're rolling for Cedric.
All right, Daphne will.
Well,
so does that mean I need to use Cedric's?
Yes.
Okay. I need to look up owls.
No, just roll a 20 and then you don't have to look anything.
And you're good, yeah.
It's like 20, dog. What?
Is
Ow.
this what kind of, is this going to be like sight or, because perception is it's +3 actually. But if it's hearing or sight, then
Ooh.
I have advantage.
I would take hearing.
Okay, cool. And it's +3, so.
Roll 20 twice.
Oof.
You got this.
Why do I roll so bad?
You don't practice.
Well, what I
What'd
would...
you get?
What...
11.
Oh yeah, no. It was a
Hardcore.
high one. Sorry.
Can
It
I...
was a high 1?
can I
I definitely
ins-
made a 1.
Yeah.
1.6.
No, I meant like it was a high save.
Am I able to
A high
inspire
roll.
Cedric?
Yes.
All right, I want to use my bardic inspiration. Add a d12.
Ooh, okay. So what was that, an 11? Okay. Is it D12 plus anything or just 12?
Just d12. And then, yeah, whatever you roll, you add.
12.
Oh.
I'll just...
What is it? Yeah.
Well, it shows a 10. It landed mostly on a 10.
Count it. 21.
Kind of like shake your tray a little bit. Where'd it go?
It's
10.
a 10.
Okay. So what, a 21?
Hmm.
Okay.
38.
Cedric is able to give you the impression that the greatest power he feels in the area is coming from the north.
From the north, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the forest in front of
Yes,
us, right?
from
okay.
the forest. And he's also able to tell you that he really feels that there's quite a few beasts around, but there's really something off about the beasts.
Hey guys, so it's a good thing you have me around because according to Cedric, there are a lot of beasts up there, but there's something off about them. There's something different.
And he's able to tell you there's beasts all around, that like the encampment is surrounded on 3 sides by beasts.
So we're actually surrounded by beasts.
Oh, should we let somebody know? You should let somebody know besides us.
Maybe let's wait until we talk to the commander, man.
Are we there yet?
At about this time,
I cast Fireball.
Yeah. Please no.
all the tents just go up in flame and everybody runs out and starts,
Time to fight beasts, bitches.
swinging their swords. You come up to a big canvas tent. It's not very fancy. You see that on the, there's these little flags up on the top, and you just they just more look like communicative flags. Like this is the command center type flag, but nothing fancy. You do notice that you can't see into the tent, that they've got some sort of lining or black cloth or something draped on the inside. So that even though you can see that there is light on the inside, you can't see what's going on in the tent or anything. Okay. So, giving you the impression that, like, even though these people seem to be really young and maybe inexperienced, they have at least been trained well.
Cool.
Good.
Okay.
Spectacular.
Mike, you guys are doing a great job. I tell them that.
Yeah. Keep up the good work.
Yay. And there's a little bell outside the tent flap, and one of the sentries goes and actually rings it 3 times, a little ding, 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 and then they let go. And after about 5 seconds or so, you hear some shuffling inside the tent, and then one of the flaps opens up, and a really young boy, we're talking like 10 years old.
Okay.
He looks like a little page. Like
servant,
like
a book.
messenger.
Yeah.
Yes, a page of a book. Pops his head out, and you also see that he is dressed in the livery of Waterdeep.
Okay.
Okay, you recognize that. And he sees the 3 centuries, and then he sees you guys, and his eyes get real big.
Imagine cartoon, like.
Yeah, exactly. And his head pops back inside the tent, and you hear some more shuffling. And then you hear somebody, like, where it sounds like somebody's maybe, smacked the kid upside the head, like,
Ooh.
boom. And then you hear, well, let them in, you idiot. And then all of a sudden the flap comes back. The kid is back there, except he steps all the way out, and he holds the flap open, and he puts his arm into the tent and puts his eyes down to the ground because he's just a little page. He doesn't. But, welcoming you inside the tent.
I walk in, and as I pass him, I pat him on the head, and I say, hang in there, buddy.
Yeah, and I give him some baklava.
And he puts it in his hand, and he kind of looks at it strangely, and he's not quite sure what to do with it.
And I'm like, you can eat it. It's really good. I bet you'd like it.
And he kind of sniffs at it. And then he looks around like, is anybody watching me? And then he eats it.
I move to make sure that no one can see him do it from the front where I've walked past him.
And you see just a look of pleasure kind of across his face.
I just kind of give a thumbs up.
He was like, yeah.
Yeah. Just want to smile at him, nod, and kind of walk on in behind my comrades.
And as you walk in, you do notice that he kind of cranes his neck a little bit inside before he closes the flap. And he actually stays on the outside
Oh, all right.
of the tent. As you go in, you are in a little welcoming area. And you see that there's actually canvas going across the middle. You can tell that there's a second part to this tent. Stop it. I said,
Oh.
And now he's in my head.
It's my magic power.
And as you walk in, you see that there's a little wooden table. There's a large jar with maps and scrolls stuck into it. And there are 3 men standing around this table with a big map that everybody roll for perception.
Nat 20, baby. It's a terrible waste of a
23.
nat 20.
19.
You can all tell that it's a rough map of the area, that it has like the basic things you already could tell, right? That the forest is north, the mountains are east, and there's plain, and then forest behind that to the west. but not very specific. And you can also tell that all of the men look very frustrated that they have been like poring over this map and looking at it and probably talking about it and not really getting anywhere because there's not really like much info on this map. And one of them looks up and he looks at Vincefield with a look of recognition and he goes, so glad you could come. Your help is greatly appreciated, Vincefield. Your travels have reached all the way even here into the Forgotten Realms.
I assure you, my friend, flattery works on me. And I kind of go up and embrace him in a hug.
And he kind of like stands there. He's not a very huggy person. Go ahead and roll wisdom for me.
16.
How did you roll a 3 and get a 16?
No, the roll right here.
Oh.
Yeah, see?
There's those little dice that rolls across his screen that said a 3.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I saw the 16. Anyway, and you start remembering that this was actually like a pretty lonely man who really just like very kept in solitude. And then you actually started thinking to yourself, like, wait a minute, how did he get involved with a whole bunch of other people? How did this happen? But that's all kind of you can remember.
Okay.
It's like, oh, wait a minute. Like,
okay.
Even though he is also a bard.
A socially awkward bard.
He was a very socially awkward bard, yes.
I like that.
But he takes a step back and goes, Vincefield, thank you so much. This here with me. Oh, I didn't name any of my people. Okay, that's fun.
Beep, beep.
I'm bad at that. Where's my phone?
This here with me is I didn't name any of my people, and that's bad. What was his name?
Randall.
Oh, right. I wrote
Something
down Randall
other.
Morn.
Randall Morn.
Randall Morn. What up, Randy Morn?
This here with me is Stundard Keenstar.
Nice.
Captain Stundard Keenstar. And the other person here with me is Mage Dedrick.
Mage?
And you notice that Captain Keenstar, again, looks pretty young for a captain. This is probably his first foray, you can assume. Dedrick, on the other hand, looks old as primordial ooze.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Old as balls.
That's how you know he's a good wizard.
He is. He is very old.
Has not followed proper
Wrinkled,
skin
leathery
care
skin.
routine.
His hair isn't even white anymore. It almost just like lacks any color whatsoever.
It's just transparent.
Yes, it's
So
pretty.
he's straight up just a hippie is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much,
It's
right?
fucking terrifying.
And he's got like, he's got the start of a hump going on his back, and his shoulders are rounded forward. I like how everybody like started, sitting up a lot straighter as I described that. And then all of a sudden, Dedrick goes, What'd you say? Did
Hi,
you call me
Dedrick.
Tendrick? My name's not Tendrick. My name's Dedrick.
I'm just going to give a thumbs up and nod.
I
Yeah.
follow Vince's lead and also give a thumbs up. Yeah, you sure is, buddy.
And he looks at the three of you, and Dedrick says, What are y'all doing here?
Could you hear us if we answered you?
I think you asked if I could hear you. Of course I can hear you. My hearing's perfectly fine. As he literally screams this as loud as he can.
Okay.
Vince, you want to explain why we're here?
I'm going to defer to my friend here. Seems you called for aid and we responded.
Yes, and I really appreciate you coming. Because I knew that I had heard that you had dealings with deities.
A few.
And that maybe you've even saved one or two and killed off maybe a couple others.
Yeah, that happened.
Well, my deity, Selune, she's been captured.
Ooh.
Selune, the goddess of the moon.
And how do you know they have been captured?
They have been captured by we don't know who they are. But they took her to the forest in the north. And we know that they hold her there. And that she's very well guarded.
Did you know that we're apparently surrounded by beasts that are off right now?
Well, ever since she's been captured, because she's the one who controls the lycanthropes, ever since she's been captured, they've all gone crazy and have started attacking cities and have actually formed large armies and have now working with other beasts. And we think that whoever is the one that captured Selune is the one now controlling everyone. But the lycanthropes are actually staying in their beast form instead of returning to their human selves, making them even more dangerous. And they must all be stopped.
Even during the day?
Even during the day.
Interesting. And you called me here, and my friends. And you're the one with the army.
Well, the army doesn't have much experience. Waterdeep, unfortunately, has been dealing with other matters even farther north, near Icewind Dale, having to deal with matters up there, and this was the only contingent they could send out in this matter.
So, a losing battle, we're outnumbered, and little information to go on. Sounds exactly what we've trained for, guys.
Exactly. Sounds like our kind of deal.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
What's in it for us?
I heard that you all just did things for fame and glory.
I don't know about fame and glory, but it is fun.
Well, there is also a reward up in Icedale. Once you're able to save Selune, if you can take her up to Icedale, there will be somebody up there who can help get her back to where she needs to be. And you can be justly compensated there. That is actually where the leader of Waterdeep is.
Was that further to the north?
Yes.
Dope.
Do they
Past the spine of the world.
Ooh,
do they
okay.
do they have food up there?
We have my mansion.
Oh, right.
You're like,
But
wait a minute.
But I do like to always try out the local delicacies.
Unfortunately, the lycanthropes,
Ate all the food.
they have really decimated our crops, smashed our stalls, eaten what little we have left, and we barely feed ourselves.
So, do you guys have any clerics by chance or paladins with you to help out with the lycanthropes?
No, there's not very many clerics and paladins in the Forgotten Realms. But we do have two of the finest mages in all of Silverdale.
I want to look right at Ari and high five and go, that's us.
You have here met Dedrick, and then Dedrick perks up. Huh? What'd you say? I told you, my name's Dedrick, not Cedric.
Hey, Mr. Dedrick.
And hold on, he squints his eyes at you, and he bends over because he is kind of, even though he's like shrunken down, he's still, he's still almost 6 feet tall. He's a pretty tall guy.
408 years old.
But pretty old, right? And so he like bends over to kind of like stare at you for a minute, and then he sniffs you out. He goes, "You smell like beast too."
Oh, well, yeah, probably because I was a beast not that long ago.
Are you a lycanthrope?
Oh, no, I'm not a lycanthrope. I'm just a druid.
Ah, that explains. And then you see he like starts staring off in the distance, and then like almost looks like he doesn't know where he's at again. Yep. And then all of a sudden, through the tent flap comes another person in robes that look very similar to Dedrick's. Okay. But very much younger. Okay. Not 10, but, we're talking like 1920.
Okay.
20-ish, Somebody's probably an acolyte, but very early in their career as a mage. Very short hair. In fact, some of it's a little singed. Probably short so that, safety.
Okay.
More of a thing. And he comes in and he goes, Hi, I'm the other mage. My name's Cedric.
So, Cedric and Dedrick.
Yep, that's who we are.
Dope. Are you related?
Nope, never met him till I joined the...
Just a happy coincidence, huh?
I know, isn't it crazy? Cedric and Dedrick. And then Dedrick pops up. I told you my name is Dedrick, not Fedrick.
We know. Thanks. Back to sleep.
And he actually backs up, and there's a chair kind of towards the back of the thing. He sits down, and he's like, all these young people never want to listen to the wisdom of the elderly. And he starts like muttering grumpily to himself.
Boy, the elderly sure are wise.
I am wise. You need to remember that.
What I said. So, Cedric, you're the best, one of the best mages in this army.
I mean, we're the only mages in this army.
Got it.
I guess, yes.
I thought
yes,
that.
you're right. We are the best mages in this army.
I suspected that might be a factor. Well, welcome aboard. We're going to rely on you to do all the heavy lifting as the best mages in this army, and we'll just kind of follow along and clean up after you. You're so great.
Yeah, unfortunately, I require a lot of cleaning up after.
Not so good at that.
Cedric, are you good at cleaning up?
I'm great at cleaning.
I love that. Maybe you clean up after us.
I like that much better.
Do we have to bring Dedrick with us? Is that a thing?
All of a sudden he goes, what?
Dedrick, are you going to come to the north with us or what?
I told you my name is Dedrick, not Tedrick.
It sure is. Would you like to take a nap here and we'll just go with Cedric here?
You know, I'm really tired. I'm just going to take a nap here.
I love that. That's a great idea. I'm glad you had it. You're a good idea.
Randall goes, we're going to wait here for a minute. We're waiting on some reconnaissance to come in. Somebody's been scouting out the area for us.
We got
so hopefully we can get some more
who's
information.
Good at that.
You do?
Yeah.
Who's good at it?
Jelly. She's got a familiar that can scout stuff, and it's the best. It's tops.
We've been having a hard time with our beasts. We can't get our dogs to go out there.
Eats a lot of
We can't get our
butterflies,
falcons. We can't even send
he
messages
already
back
said he
to
wasn't going out
Waterdeep.
there.
Yeah,
because none of our messenger falcons will go back.
Yeah, it's because they sense the danger.
Well, what kind of danger is it?
Well, they're beasts, but they're lycanthropes.
That makes sense.
It does.
So, but I can turn into a cloud.
Yes. I think just, yes.
I just roll my eyes at
just
this
let
point.
her turn into a cloud and go reconnoiter.
I could also turn into a bat and then, pick up some info that way.
I mean, you guys are the adventurers.
Yes.
So you would know best.
Better than the army.
I'm just here to be able to write my songs and give a little advice whenever I can. I knew that there were better people than I. And then, Vincefield, I want you to roll for insight.
18.
See, how did it roll a 1?
No. See, that's a 13.
Right, but then how did you get 18 out of a 13 and a 1?
No, because it's 13 plus my insights plus 5. See, that would have been 7 plus 5.
I think there's some cheating shenanigans
There's
over
not.
here.
It's one dice rolling.
I don't understand how this electronic rolling goes.
Look. See, that's actually a 1 showing up. But then, if I wanted to
But there was a 13 on the die.
And plus my 5 on insight.
I'm just going to believe you.
It's right here.
Anyway, you start remembering a few things. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I remember Randall. Not only is he a bit of a recluse, he's also really good at ripping off ideas off of people.
Okay. So you intend... Interesting. I want to relay this info to the party that he's really good at taking ideas, and thus must be good at taking the credit.
Okay.
And then Captain, what did I call him? Keenstar.
Yeah.
Captain Keenstar. Captain Keenstar
Sturder?
goes,
Is it Sturder?
we can't make any other decisions.
Sturden?
Yes.
Sturden.
Yes, I can't read my own.
What the fuck kind of name is that?
Whatever the one the generator came up with, okay?
Unreal. I'm not going to be able to read that in the recap, so that's fine. Hopefully they die right now. I kill Sturden Keenstar just immediately.
He actually gestures over to the other side of the tent where you actually see a little table. It's got a little fruit.
Wait, your name's
little
Sturden?
cheese, a little bread,
Not anymore, motherfucker.
very plain fare.
Okay.
A pitcher of water is over there, and he goes, I am so sorry for this introduction. Please, thank you for coming. Obviously, Bard Morn recognizes you and knows that you're here to help us. Please go over and refresh yourselves and get something to eat while we wait for the scout to come in.
I immediately, even though it's nothing fancy, I'm just really hungry, so I just immediately go to Chowtown.
I don't require food. How long are we waiting for this scout, Sturden?
They should be coming in within the next half an hour.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
I'd like to hang out for a half hour.
Would you like a mushroom?
And he looks at him and he's like, I tend not to eat mushrooms. I had a bad experience once with one.
Oh, all right. Well, your loss. These are magic mushrooms, and they will sate you.
You know, that's what they called them too.
Dun,
It
dun,
did
dun.
not sate me. No. And he actually turns and then goes into the flap into the back of the tent.
Are there any other, underlings around?
Not currently, no. But there are a few chairs by the little refreshment table.
I sit down.
So you guys sit and refresh yourselves. It gets darker outside. The page comes back in and actually sets up some lamps along the inside. And then he actually goes into the back of the tent as well.
I help the page when he comes in to set up.
And he looks at you and he starts kind of giving you a little half smile. He's kind of scared of you, but also oh, these are the nice people. They give me food and are helping me.
Let me help you set these lamps up, champ.
And once the lamps and everything are set.
Waiting. Let's go kill some lycanthropes.
A woman comes in who, by the look of her, looks like a scout. And she steps in. She's very smart looking. She does a little salute. She's not actually looking at anybody. She just kind of comes in and she goes, I'm here to report. And then the captain comes in from the back and he says, thank you, Scout Harver. What do you have to report? And they go, it has been very hard. We have lost the other 3 scouts. 3 are dead. Just her has returned. We know there are wolves to the east, near the foot of the mountains. We know that there's a lot more beyond that, but we couldn't get past them. There's at least 2 different packs over there. The forest to the north is where we really think that they're holding Selune, but there's some sort of magic over that really confuses. That's where we lost one of the scouts. They went in and they just never came back. They could even just be wandering at this time.
Did you say this is the forest to the east?
This is the forest to the north.
North, okay.
Okay, where we're pretty sure they're holding Selune. But there is a small river right in front of the forest that goes from the west to the east. And then on the side of the forest turns up towards north. And we actually think that would be the best area to try to get into the forest, because it makes a nice part in the forest. And then to the east, there's vast amounts of beasts that we can't even get through. So we are stuck here. We are not going to be able to get any more. What's that word? No other support is coming.
Oh, reinforcements.
Thank you. We won't be able to get any other reinforcements. And in fact, we felt a magical disturbance to the south that we don't think we'll be able to escape from there.
Well, defeat is not an option.
It's a good thing you have us with you.
But we're not going to be able to get anybody else here.
So
That's fine.
I mean, you don't need anybody else. You got us.
We're kind of an army.
And the captain looks at all 3 of you, and he's like, I know that Bard Morn talks very highly of all of you, and I'm sure that is justly deserved.
You bet.
I assure you.
But we also have greater numbers than just the 3 of you.
You want us to take them?
We do have 10 of the finest knights who all have seen battle previously, each coming with at least 2 war steeds, if not 3 each. We have our 2 fine mages here. We are, unfortunately, down to 1 scout. We have me as captain, and then we have 75 infantrymen and 50 spearmen at our disposal.
How many days have you been here?
We have been here for 2.5 days.
Okay.
How many people have you lost?
We have already lost about 25. Our camp was actually a little bit more spread out, but we've actually had to consolidate down because people from the edges were disappearing. We've lost our blacksmith. We've lost our healer. We've lost our Fletcher.
Have you been attacked? Like, do they come and attack you in the camp, or
They haven't come into the camp itself, but it'll be somebody goes to relieve them, or when during a sentry change, somebody goes on the fringe of the camp and they kind of get taken out by ones and twos.
so? It seems like we're stuck here.
Well, they're stuck here.
You can turn into clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Do that immediately.
Bye.
Become a cloud and go check out the north situation. Report back way quicker than any of these people could have possibly.
No. I like that idea.
Hey, does anybody want to become a cloud with me? And I looked at this. What's the scout's name? Harvard. I'm like, hey, Harvard, do you want to become a cloud with me and go scout like you've never scouted before?
Scout kind of looks at you and is like, can somebody actually become a cloud?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see anything as a cloud when you don't have any eyes?
Magic.
And you actually see like a little shiver through the captain, like, ugh. Like you could tell that he's not really a fan of magic. He tolerates it.
Damn right he does.
Right?
Didn't have a choice, buddy.
But you could tell he would not be a person you could change into a cloud. And the scout goes, well, it still seems to me as if, with the tree cover and the mountains, you probably won't see much anyway.
I mean, maybe not, but
Are they gathering somewhere nearby? Look for movement. See if they.
There's been a lot of movement to the west. And we know that there is also another path at the foot of the mountains that go into the forest. But that's kind of where they seem to be gathering to prevent us to be able to use that. It's a pretty dense forest, so you can't just like try to blaze your own trail.
I mean, you can't.
Do these sentries that are taken out, are they always in the same location?
No. However, they've all only been taken out either from the east or the west. The only person we've lost to the north is the one who was purposely scouting the forest.
It's really easy to set up an ambush with my magnificent mansion. We could just simply hide inside of it, look through the window, wait for them to think that they are not being watched, and simply come out and attack them, wound them enough, and let them bring us to where they are hiding.
I like that idea.
Where? Like on the west or the east or the north? Where are you setting up the magnificent mansion?
Where do we think?
I think we should
So
go
you've
north.
got a possible
I feel
path
like we're
to the
supposed to
west.
go north to save
You've got a possible path to
Salune.
the east into the forest into the north.
I think we should go north. Oh, okay. So you know what? I actually I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take some action. So I just immediately cast my spell conjure
Ooh.
conjure animals.
Okay.
I conjure a bat in my hand. I just hold my hand out and a bat appears.
That's cool. That's
Okay.
cool.
And I cast beast sense on the bat. So beast sense is
Oh.
basically like I can see or hear through the creature
Okay.
for up to an hour. It's a concentration spell. And then I just send the bat to the north. I'm like, go check it out.
The bat flies up, starts to head north, but then you feel this like just giant sense of dread come over it, and it actually veers off. But the bat then veers off to the right and heads towards the mountains in the west.
What do I see through the bat?
So through the bat, you see sparse trees, and the land becomes rockier and rockier. And I want you to roll a d20 for me.
Roll a 20.
I rolled a 12.
You gotta believe.
Okay. It's good enough. You had to beat a 10.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yay! As the bat is flying, and it's still very fearful, it's just looking for a place to go hide. That's what it's doing. It's looking for a cave. It notices some very large creatures on the ground that are congregating. It notices about 10 what appear to be wolves, not very far from camp.
And this is to the west
To the west, like
Okay.
directly to the west of camp.
on some rocky ground.
Yes.
Do they, as they're congregating, do they appear to be like doing some kind of ritual or?
No, they do kind of appear to be like moving their heads side to side, like they're communicating to each other.
Oh, they're dancing.
But it's more of like it seems like they're gathering. You see like a couple coming in from one side, a couple coming in from another side. They're definitely not doing any ritual or anything, but they're like just coming together and gathering.
I even though the bat's like scared, I still try to like ask the bat to just perch up under a tree or something somewhere safe and just kind of keep an eye on it.
Roll a d20 with animal handling.
Oh, good.
Roll a
Okay, I'm
50.
proficient.
28.
It's going to be hard to...
I have faith.
Don't say it's hard.
16?
The bat agrees because
Oh, good. Okay.
it finds a nice tall tree with lots of branches where it can kind of perch up and hide under there, so it feels a lot safer. They can actually see the group. You see that the group of wolves gets together, and then they all turn. As they all start to turn to be all facing toward the camp. They are about a mile away from camp right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they're like at the foot of the mountains type area. But they all start walking as one towards camp.
Okay, I'm like, hey, Commander Keenstar, there's something you should know.
And he kind of looks at you suspiciously. And what is it that I should know that I don't already know?
A lot.
Oh, do you know that there's a
How
small...
much time do you got?
Do you know that there's a small army of lycanthropes headed right this way right now from the west?
No, all the lycanthropes were going to the north, I thought. Hey! And then all of a sudden he puts his hands around his mouth to make his voice louder, and he goes, "Hey, Dedrick!" And Dedrick perks up and he goes, "Finally, somebody got my name right!" And he goes, "Do you know anything about any lycanthropes coming in from the west?" And Dedrick looks at you and looks at your boots. And do you have your little spikes on your shoulders?
Mm-hmm. And my eye patch, too.
Oh, and your eye patch.
Oh, yeah.
So he
Yeah.
like looks you up and down. He goes, "This one probably knows what they're talking about. I'm going to go back to sleep." And he sits back in his chair again and like just nods off.
You see, you heard it from the mage Dedrick himself.
And then Dedrick pokes up. "I told you my name is Dedrick, not Hendrick."
Oh, thanks for correcting me.
And then he sits back and goes back to sleep.
Sorry, I'll get it right next time. So you heard that, Commander. Even your own mage agrees with me.
The commander looks at you for a second, and then he pokes his head out of the tent and he calls for like a messenger and he says, "Bring me the knights."
What about the days?
And he comes in, he goes, "Well, we'll send the knights to go and just set up a defense."
Whether 10 of them?
Yes.
Oh, well, there are definitely more than 10 lycanthropes, just so you know.
Good luck.
How many are there? Since you seem to know so much.
At least 20.
We've got some pretty nice, well-experienced knights. They could take that on. They'll be on some nice war steeds. So it's really like you've got 20 men-at-arms there.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Totally fine.
Okay, well, you're the commander.
I mean, unless you've got something to show. You're the one who says they're coming. Why don't you go deal with them?
I mean, I'd be happy to if you want me to.
If
I could easily take them.
Hear me out. If we know where they're coming, yet again, I can set up my magnificent mansion. Let them pass pass through where we would be, looking out the window, because the mansion is invisible once we close the door. Let them pass through, have the knights block, and we can come out and attack from behind and a pincer attack.
When
That could work.
when we're done, can we go back inside the mansion and go to bed?
Of course we can.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
You can even have an all-you-can-eat buffet waiting while we are waiting for the ambush.
And I look at Vince and I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty good. This food isn't really the best, to be honest."
Oh, trust me, I'm just keeping face right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you say? Do you want to go inside Vince's magnificent mansion?
Yeah, we'll head out there. We're send the knights, and we're gonna help.
Mm-hmm.
So after about 10 minutes or so, the knights have lined up in very fancy, nice, straight lines. They seem more concerned with how they look, type.
Oh my.
Their armor is very shiny. You can't really tell, though, too much. You can't really judge too much because it is dark at this point. And yes, you can see them and the outlines of them, but, you'll get be able to tell a lot more once anything starts happening. And they start heading towards the west of camp. And when they get to the edge, they do 2 rows of 5, about 10 feet in between each. They spread out.
Okay. Like in charge formation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's head out there and set up the ambush, because they will be here soon. It does not take that long to walk a mile, especially if you're a wolf.
So you're just gonna start walking out west
Mm-hmm.
towards where the wolves are heading.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'd like to cast invisibility on
I was
myself.
like, just gonna be walking out in the open. Okay.
Well, I mean, we're going to walk out there and then get in the magnificent mansion.
I'd like to see if I can see through the bat sides again.
They're fucking wolves.
Okay,
They don't know.
you can.
They don't know what's happening when people just disappear.
Are the lycanthropes still there, or have they already left?
Nope, they have moved on.
Dumbass animals. They don't know.
I asked the bat to kind of follow from behind,
And the bat asks what direction.
back to the camp.
Okay, so the bat takes off, starts flying back to the camp. It's not too long until they catch up and say that they are all these beasts are walking on all fours and they're being hidden by the tall grass.
Okay, I'm like, hey guys, the beasts are walking on all fours and they're in the tall grass.
Well, we should set up the mansion, yeah? Let's get ready. Let's get to action.
Yeah, set up the mansion like on the path, but have the door facing to the east where the camp would be.
Okay.
So then that way when we like open the door, we'd be facing towards the camp, thinking that they're west to east.
Where are you putting the mansion in? Like, are you putting it in like the center of the knights, on one side of the knights?
We're doing a pincer attack, so we got to go ahead of the knights, right?
Right.
Yeah, so the knights would be here, and then we would be here, and the knights are facing this way, and we're facing that way.
And then
And wolves are coming this way?
wander right through us because we're invisible and
I
shit.
was thinking more, wolves are going this way, knights are here, hidden doors behind, so then as they come through,
So
they see the
I guess my
knights.
question is, do things go through your mansion?
It's,
Or will they like
It's like a pocket
whack
dimension,
their
right?
noses?
yeah, because it says as soon as the door closes, it becomes invisible.
Okay.
So as long as it's like,
But is it still physical?
all right, let me see.
You know, it's like invisible people. You can't see them, but you can still walk
Yeah.
into them.
You conjure an extra dimensional dwelling in the range you choose, where it's
Okay.
located.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's
Okay. I get it.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Extra dimensional.
So, Gelsira, you see through the bat's eyes these wolves. So they're being very stealthy. They're making no noise.
Oh, they're walking slow.
Yep. They're walking slow. They're not going very fast. But they're slowly, though, making progress towards the camp. To the point, you also see that the bat's eyes that the horses are kind of becoming restless, you know, because they're all just like standing there. And we're talking like after like 20 minutes of nothing happening kind of thing, right? Like, But finally, you then do see these wolves, and you only see 10 of them currently. But you do see these wolves finally kind of come up to where now they're kind of in front of, between the mansion and the knight. And that will do us for this episode of Some Would Play. Listen next week to see how our heroes take on some Lycanthropes and working with an actual army.
It's going to be epic.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Some Would Play, a production of the Outsanity Network. Join us again next week as the adventure continues. Find us online at www.somewouldplay.com and wherever podcasts are. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Some Would Play to never miss an episode. And remember, in real life, you needn't roll for initiative, so just seize it.